Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie. I look so white right now. Now, December is probably the least popular month for a book to be published, so it's kind of slim pickings. But I have collected 32 books here that we're gonna yap about. Some of them we're gonna have to see if we wanna go to the library. Some of them I'm gonna need to purchase immediately. Well, I'm gonna ask for them for Christmas. I usually separate this into publication date, but because most of the books are being published the first week of December, I'm going alphabetical this time. Wow, look at me switching it up. I don't count the in the alphabet, okay? So if it's like the devil, what? It's a D, not a T. Okay, let's move on. Where the fuck did that come from? Wait, does A count? Whatever, we're just gonna start. I have A Danger to the Minds of Young Girls. First of all, this title. And guess what? This is a nonfiction. It's a biography of Margaret C. Anderson, who up until last week I had never heard of. But apparently she was an editor for a literary magazine back in the early 20s, maybe even the late 10s. And I think this publication was kind of under fire because the men were all threatened that the women knew how to read and whatnot. And the types of things that they were printing in there were probably shocking for the time, but now we see them as classics. And this woman pissed the men off so bad that she put in I think it's called like a serialized version of Ulysses, which we all studied in school. And the men were so appalled that they arrested her for it. Can you imagine? And I think they were trying to use this as an opportunity to shut down her magazine, and they called her A Danger to the Minds of Young Girls. I might have said women earlier. Girls are women, bitch. But can you imagine someone calling you this? Like, if you were already a baddie, you're like, fuck yes. I am confused, like, how could you get arrested for that? Maybe I don't really understand what serialized is, because I'm assuming it's just an excerpt from Ulysses, but maybe she didn't have permission and they like got her on a technicality. I am so curious about this, and I don't often find myself curious about nonfiction, but it won't be the last time in this video. Get ready. Sometimes it's funny to me because it's like, if I want to know more details about this, I don't have to read a whole book. I could just go to Wikipedia, but like, I kind of want to read the book. Next up is an Arcane Inheritance. I love this cover. It's giving moody. It is dark academia. I think there's fantasy in it, and I would steer clear of the synopsis if I were you, if you don't like spoilers, because the first paragraph in the synopsis, I feel like it gives away the plot. So I'm not going to tell it to you, but I will say our main character's name is Ellery, and she gets accepted to an elite Ivy college university, and I guess it's kind of famous for being kind of a cult. So she goes there, she's a freshman obviously, and she starts noticing that she kind of recognizes a few things, and she has this insane feeling of deja vu that cannot be explained, and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. She's suddenly so sure that she actually has been here, and apparently she enlists the help of one of her classmates. I don't know if there's a romance in here. Of course, I'm trying to make one already, or if it's a friend, or if it's a foe. I guess we'll find out. I think there's gonna be like secret society stuff. Again, I feel like the first paragraph of the synopsis, if you want to go read it, kind of gives the plot away, so I'm not gonna say it. This one I really am intrigued about. I love an academic setting. I hope that they actually go to class, and I like a dark, moody time. Next up is At Whit's End. This is obviously a cowboy romance novel. This one comes out on the 2nd. I actually didn't realize when I requested this on NetGalley, and I got approved, so I will be reading it. This is actually the 4th book in a interconnected romance, so I think you can read them by themselves. That's what I'm gonna do. But the gist of this story is that there is a single mom in town. She has a 10-year-old son, and he's starting his like rebellious era, which I clap for, honestly, but I don't think she's having a fun time. It says she gets her sister's help, and then it says she gets the help of a neighborhood cowboy, and he kind of takes this kid under his wing, starts getting him involved in the farm or whatever the fuck he does, and it's kind of cute. They start bonding, this kid and him, which sounds kind of funny, but then he starts bonding with the kid's mom. Oldest trick in the book. I think we're gonna learn more about the boy's father, who seems to be coming and going, kind of like a Christopher vibe. Yikes. Like, he's a good dad when he wants to get laid by his baby mama. I do love the gossip. I love the drama. I gotta know what's going on, and I think she's gonna freak because I don't think she's been treated very well, and I kind of do like an avoidant girly. So we shall see. I've read a few cowboy romances and interconnected series. I've never heard of this one. If you have, this is the first book in the series. Let me know if it's good. These covers, like, they're kind of they're almost, I don't like them because it looks like a picture, but if you look really closely, they've kind of texturized it, so it feels a little nostalgic. I kind of like it. I don't know. And the big text, I do like the big text. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, The Bodyguard Affair. This one sounds fun. We have our main character who is a famous author, like a romance steamy author. She uses a pseudonym, so like no one in her day job knows that she writes these books. And her day job, she is the assistant to the Prime Minister of Canada's wife. So her boss is the wife of the Prime Minister. Okay. Our girl writes a book. It just flies off the shelf. It gets so popular. Guess what the book is called? This is like The Prime Minister and Me. I think her identity comes out. Can you imagine having that conversation with your boss? Like, oh, I wrote a romance about having an affair with the Prime Minister. Like that's crazy. Anyway, to try to get the gossip off of her so people don't think it's like based on real life, she enlists the Prime Minister's bodyguard in a little fake dating scenario. And apparently she knows him. They had like a one-night stand 3 years ago, and they're friendly enough to agree to do this. And guess what's gonna happen, people? They're gonna fall in love. I feel like this is just silly enough, but also still is like logical. Is it? This is just like, I want to see this unfold. I want to see the Prime Minister's wife being like, huh. But also, I do love a bodyguard romance. I've never read, I don't think, a bodyguard romance where like the bodyguard isn't bodyguarding the love interest. So I wonder if it will even feel like a bodyguard romance. It's literally called Bodyguard whatever. I'm actually so excited for this one. Next up, the Book of Luke. Now this is drama. Ever since reading The Compound, I have been more accepting about reading reality TV show books. I haven't read one since The Compound, but like, I'm gonna give this one a chance. I think there are 2 timelines, otherwise we're going to be told about something in the past. So the past timeline, we have, I think his name's Luke. I actually didn't check that. We have a like 22-year-old man, and he goes onto a reality TV show. He makes friends. He has like a partner that he makes that's pretty serious. And then something, I think it says it ends in tragedy. And they don't give us a little hint, which I love. Like, I don't want to know. I want to be surprised in the book. And then we jump 10 years where Luke is married to a successful, how do you be a successful politician? I don't know. And he has 2 kids, but it turns out his husband is cheating on him. So in an effort to feel relevant and also get some money, because I think the prize is like $1 million fucking dollars, he goes back onto the reality TV show. And I think a whole new set of drama comes up, but also he's probably dealing with the drama of the previous show that he was on. And the synopsis said something really good. It said, "This is a portrait of what it means to reinvent yourself when no one will let you forget your past, especially if it's immortalized on streaming services." I feel like we can all relate to the first part of that sentence, but like, imagine. I don't wanna. Okay, next up, Canticle. I really like this cover, the sort of like gilded. I think it's gonna be wholesome, which I do love, but also I think it's set in medieval times, and there's just been something about that lately. Mostly I've been feeling it in my vampire books this year. I get a little flavor of it. It'll be interesting to get the medieval atmosphere without like people killing each other. Well, maybe. So we're following a 16-year-old girl, and she is like growing up in this very strict household or community. And like her version of rebelling is learning Latin behind closed doors with a boy she has a crush on. Apparently her family falls on hard times, and dad literally like sells her to some creep to like marry, so she runs away. And she finds this cloister. Is that an appropriate word? It's a group of women. I guess they're like religious, but they don't follow like her religion. It's the first time she ever makes friends. It's the first time she can be creative, listen to music, play music, sing, dance, be free. And how cute is that? But of course, it's a book, so there's conflict. I think these women piss, again, the men off, especially in whatever time this is set in. It says that our main character will need to learn a new understanding of love and sacrifice. Like, I'm scared. Sacrifice, come on. Like, I don't want her to die. But if it's written well enough, I mean, it would be a good story. Next up, we have Dark Sisters. This is another historical, but it's horror leaning. Now, this is an author I read, I think it's called like Such a Pretty Smile or something like this. This is one of the first horror books I ever read. It would be interesting rereading it now, because at the time I was like, fuck, this is so good. And I think it was just that first time that I was like, I got that horror feeling. Damn, it did feel so good. So I would like to read from this author again to see if I'm a fan of hers. We'll see. We are following 3 women. It might be over different times, which is giving like bury our bones. One of the women, Anne, is being accused of witchcraft, and so she bargains with the dark entity for protection, which I think the claims might be true, girl. It says the fire that she unleashes will reverberate for centuries. That's the thing I'm most excited excited for. We're also following Mary. Mary, I'm sorry, your story does not sound as juicy. She's a perfect wife who has like an affair, I think with another woman, which is juicy stuff. But when we're talking about witchcraft, like you better be a lesbian and a witch, please. And then Camilla, not to be confused with Carmilla, she is a preacher's daughter discovering an ancient power that will piss off her daddy, I'm sure. So I don't know if this is being told all together or if one is going to like relay into the next, but I'm curious as to why it's horror. I feel like when witch shit is classified as horror, it's gonna be bloody, and I just can't wait. And again, that historical, I don't know like the time period exactly, but I am craving it lately. Next up, the definitions. This is probably the one I'm most looking forward to this month. It's kind of giving the merge. It's literary sci-fi. I think it's gonna lean more like fiction though. Just prepare yourself and also hydrate. Okay, so in this book, a virus or a sickness or whatever has spread, and the people that were affected had all of their memories like they don't know how to speak. They don't know any part of their personality. They know nothing. And so they have to go to these rehabilitation centers called the Center. And that's where our book is set. We're following a group of people. I'm guessing we're gonna follow them over time, which is so cute. They're gonna be learning how to speak again. They're gonna be learning how to be around other humans, to be a human. And I think it says that some of them are gonna get different memories back. And I don't know if it's gonna be this huge conspiracy. Like the Center is actually doing this to them and they're like studying them, or like there is no virus. I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think it's gonna be more a reflection on different themes about like being human. I wrote down that I think it's gonna focus on identity and what is a personality. Like, is it a collection of experiences? Is it a collection of, I don't know. I'm interested to see what they have to say about it. I feel like I love stories that like some weird shit is going on, but also it's focusing and zeroing in on humans and just how fucking weird and like kind of cute we are. And I am excited to see that in a group dynamic. I don't know if we're gonna get one POV, all of theirs. I can't wait for this, and I got accepted for the NetGalley, so I'll be reading it for sure. Okay, next up we have Depraved Devotion. This is for my dark romance girlies. You know I'm a dark romance fan, but I would like to ask the people who don't like dark romance to not judge me for my interest in this book, okay? This is just for fun. This is just for fun. Okay. I'm gonna pitch this to you as a movie, but just pretend it's a romance. Silence of the Lambs. Yes, 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 yes. I mean, you can't tell me you didn't see the chemistry. I probably watched this movie when I was like 10 years old. I picked up on the chemistry. I don't know if it's just because these two actors are phenomenal, obviously, and like they both have individual riz that was like overlapping, but I've been yearning for this story since I was 10, and I'm about to get it. And I don't know if it's gonna be good, but I'm gonna try it out. We have a sociopathic serial killer. We don't know like who he's been killing. Maybe they deserved it. I guess we'll find out. But he turns himself in, and he is only agreeing to talk to our main character, who is a criminal psychologist. I don't know if he's like already obsessed with her. I feel like that's probably the case. Otherwise, why would he do this? Although he could have just like knocked on her door and said hi. Whatever, I'm into it. But yeah, he becomes very obsessive. They're gonna fall in love, okay? And we're just gonna have to deal with it. It's a romance. It's a book. It's a book. In real life, not appropriate. But, like, come on. Next up, we have The End. I think this is self-published, and my friend Alicia, hi Alicia, she just read it, and I think she gave it 4.5, and she really, really liked it. It sounds so intriguing. I think it's horror, maybe fantasy in there. I can't tell if it's like gonna be the kind of thing where the character is made to believe it's fantasy, and actually it's like just some horrible cult shit, or if like actual crazy fantasy cult shit is happening. But we have our main character named Eli, and his partner Celine dies, R.I.P. And it just so happens right around that time he bumps into a cult that says that they can like communicate with the dead. Like that's not a coincidence. What is going on? He's thirsting for knowledge. I think more information comes out about what led up to Celine's death. He's probably gonna learn more about this cult as well. Were they involved? I have a feeling they were. It says, a harrowing descent into the blurred edges of faith. First of all, wonderful writing. Madness and the afterlife, which I've been weirdly very interested in reading about lately, or at least just thinking about. The end will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the world and what comes after. So I guess it's not like fantasy. Like the afterlife isn't fantasy. Is that paranormal? I mean, it kind of is fantasy to me, but I don't know, like I have so many questions, so obviously I need to read this. Next up is Every Day I Read, and it's actually by an author that we all know and love. This is the author of Welcome to the Hunam Dong Bookshop, which I haven't read yet. I have the NetGalley Allie, and I bought the actual book. Still haven't read it yet. I feel like I'm gonna love it though. This is a nonfiction that the author wrote about reading. Also, yes, I had a Jolly Rancher before this video. Apparently this was published in 2021 and it's been translated, and it's a collection of essays about like our relationship with reading. It's like prompting us to think about it. Probably some anecdotal stuff about the author. I'm just gonna read this straight, okay? Why do we read? What is it that we hope to take away from the intimate, personal experience of reading for pleasure? Rarely do we ask these profound, expansive questions of ourselves and of our relationship to the joy of reading. In each of these essays, the author contemplates what living a life immersed in reading means. She goes beyond the usual questions of what to read and how often, exploring the relationship with reading and writing, when to turn to a bestseller versus browse the corners of a bookstore, the value of reading outside of your favorite genre, falling in love with book characters, and more. It provides many quiet moments for introspection and reflection, encouraging book lovers to explore what reading means. So like, I don't know that we'd all be interested in this because we are book lovers, you and I. So I don't think I'm reaching for this to get like inspiration to read. I'm already doing it, but I feel like I'm fascinated what someone else has to say about it. But there is, it says, a treasure trove of book recommendations blended seamlessly within. So that's kind of cool, but also like, I just like reading about nerdy shit by people who love what they're talking about. And the added element of like, it's something that I am nerdy about. I can't wait to read this. Okay, next up is Fallen Gods. This is one like I'm not sure about. I will definitely give it a shot though. I do think it's funny that it's about like mythological gods and goddesses like being in the real world. And like, isn't there already a series called Fallen Gods that talk about the same thing? That's just kind of weird. In this book series, there are gods, but I think like people don't know too much about them. Apparently there's like a myth that they have been sleeping and they reside inside like people just out and about. They're just like sitting in there, which like yikes, but also such a cool concept. And eventually, or if they're sparked by something, they will come out. Our main character says that her father is one of these gods. He's like one of the most ruthless ones. He has been raising her to be his like, I don't know, little minion or something, and I think he's been very cruel to her. He enlists her to go to a university, another academic setting, of course. I love it. But I think he wants her to go there so that she can steal this, what's it called? Artifact? And I think it's like a hammer. It says if she doesn't steal this relic that everyone she loves will die. And I wonder, like, is that him just making shit up to scare her and like manipulate her? Probably. I think while she's there though, this is the part like, come on. I think she ends up falling in love with the son of her father's enemy. Like a Romeo and Juliet situation. I'm a sucker. Every time. I do feel like I can see this plot coming a mile away. Like it's gonna be this lesson of her standing up for herself, realizing that like her dad is shit and choosing her own happiness over his weird shit. But it could be good. I don't know. It is the start of a new series, I believe. So I feel like it's gonna get bigger and bigger. Maybe we'll meet other gods. I do like mythology when there's like a bunch of different, that's so fun. Next up we have House of Day, House of Night, and I'm most interested in this because I have read from this author before. It was actually my first ever vlog. It was, what was it? Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. One of the best titles I've ever gotten my little hands on. Although I think I listened to the audiobook. Now this was originally published in 1997 and it has been translated, and here we have it, and I love this cover. I think these are short stories. I think it's like interconnected, and there is a narrator who might be telling us all these stories. Basically, a woman moves to a small town, and with the help of her gossiping neighbor, apparently, we get the tea on all the people in the village, whether they are dead or alive. And so I think it is like little short stories, which I'm really excited to see like how the construction is. But it also might be a little fantastical, or at least like folky, because a couple of the stories include the town drunk who discovers he shares a body with a bird, and another who thinks he's receiving nightmares from another planet. Like, these are some interesting stories, whether they are true or not. Like, to have neighbors who think this, that's the dream. The main message though of the collection, I like to always find like the theme. They always put it in the synopsis, and I'm thankful because it does give you like the vibe. The book is reminding us that the story of any place, no matter how humble, is fascinating and boundless and awaits any of us with the imagination to seek it. And I love that. That's like so whimsical. Oh, battery's dead. All right, the fourth book in this interconnected romance series is coming out on the 30th of December, In Your Dreams. I've been looking forward to this one forever. This series is so strange because there are times usually when I'm beginning the book, or even when I read the synopsis, and I'm just like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. I don't know that these situations are something that I like. I don't know if the author can pull this off in a way that I like. And she has proved me wrong every single time. Even when like I'm in the beginning, I'm like, oh, by the end. And I think a part of it is that it's interconnected. So I feel invested in these characters. This one's a little different though. And I think you could read it outside of this series. That's just my guess. Obviously haven't read it yet. But this is following the middle daughter of the group. And she's been away at culinary school. She was trying to make it big in New York City, but she's coming home because there's a job opportunity, except the owner of the restaurant that's opening up is her long time, I don't know if it's childhood friends to lovers or if he's just been her brother's best friend for quite some time, but this man has been pining after her, capital P pining, and that is why I cannot wait to read it. Again, there's like a couple things in the synopsis that I'm like, why? It says that this dude's brother, his younger brother, is gonna go after this girl. Why are you wasting our time? Like, why? We know she's gonna end up with this dude. Like, they've been hinting at it since the beginning. Why would they throw this in? Hopefully that's just like a tiny little, like, haha, what if that happened? And not like an actual source of conflict. I will throw the book. But again, I say that about every one of these goddamn books, and I end up loving it and finding it so sweet. Also, since when does he have a brother? Next up, we have The Last Vampire. This is a YA fantasy romance, which I haven't read in a long time. Of course, there's a vampire in it, so I have to try it out. But we have a girl, and she's obsessed with Jane Austen. So she finds out that there is this boarding school who is opening up in like an old Victorian house, and she simply wants to go because the vibes are there. She wants to fall in love in this beautiful setting, and who can blame her? So she's like expecting this sort of Mr. Darcy situation, and instead she uncovers the body of a 300-year-old vampire, and she like awakens him. I think they are love interests, which is kind of weird because he's 300 and she's probably underage, but it sounds like he has been entombed for 300 years, probably as someone of the same age, because he ends up enrolling at the school, of course. So I feel like if he literally has not lived, he still is like 17. Edward could never. I think we find out more about the vampire lore, and I think he might be one of the last living vampires, and for some reason he has to choose between his vampirism or supporting his fellow dying vampires or his love, which is our Jane Austen girly. I'm guessing it's also dual POV because the synopsis really changes to like his situation, but we'll see. I just know they're gonna end up in love because Jane Austen novels are happily ever after, so obviously this one has to be too, right? That'd be kind of mean to like make this girl obsessed with it and then have the guy die at the end. It would make for a good story though, right? I feel like I keep saying that. Like, I want the love interest to die. It's just like, come on, the yearning. Next up, The List of Suspicious Things. I feel like this is gonna be heartbreaking. It is classified as mystery. It looks like a mystery, but I think it's gonna be much more fiction because we're following an 11-year-old girl, and it's not classified as YA or middle grade. Apparently her mom is pretty sick and she is dying. Her dad has said that he wants them to move. Apparently other young women are dying in this town. Now I feel like this is gonna be the 11-year-old trying to process the imminent death of her mother more so than actually investigating this killer, because it doesn't say these young girls are killed, it says they die. Maybe it's an Aaron Brockovich situation, but this 11-year-old, God bless her soul, decides that she's gonna investigate. So she teams up with her bestie. They are making a list of suspicious things. They are learning about all their neighbors, learning all their stories, learning about their own stories and their families. I think secrets might be coming out, or just truths, like maybe there isn't a mystery at all. I just feel like this is going to be devastating in such a cute way, which is even more devastating. Or maybe there will be like a juicy plot. Maybe her dad's like poisoning everyone in town. Who knows? Who knows? I think I did get a proof of this NetGalley, so I'm gonna read it. There's just something about a kid coming to terms with death that is just so heartbreaking, but also like, no, it's just heartbreaking. Jesus Christ. Okay, next up we have Love in Plain Sight. This is one of the romances that I'm most looking forward to, and I think it's just because it sounds silly. But I'm trying to prepare myself because I think it's gonna be one of those rom-coms that turn very like emotional. So Allie, prepare yourself. We have a girl and we have her brother's best friend. I think they've bumped heads for a while. They don't seem to get along. She finds him irritating and grumpy. She thinks it's probably not true, that he hates her. He's probably been in love with her since they were like 11. Anyway, she has asked him, I guess he's a pilot. She is taking like a flying lesson from him because it's her dream to become a pilot. I love it when a character has a dream. So they're up in the air, probably bickering, or I don't know, she's pretending that they're enemies. And all of a sudden there's an emergency and he like locks into like pilot mode. He does some sort of crazy emergency landing and he's like really in charge, and suddenly she's like, huh, she can't take her eyes off him. She's like, wow, I literally trust this man with my life now. And I don't know why, but that is just so fun of a flip. Like whenever it's childhood to adult, or like you've known someone for a while, or enemies to lovers, you're always waiting for like that flip. And this just sounds like a fun one. But anyway, she has decided now that she thinks he's hot, and also she has a dream to become a pilot, that she's going to continue with these lessons, even though they're very expensive. The reason why I think this might get a little bit more serious is because it does mention that she uses her waitressing money to mostly pay for her mom's medical bills. So again, I think this might get a little sad, but maybe the mom will get better. We don't know what it is. We can stay hopeful. Also, I hope her brother is helping out. Come on. Just the thought of them falling in love in that confined space in such a specific setting. I don't know, I guess I've never read anything like it. For some reason, like as I'm speaking, all I can think about is that one episode of Pretty Little Liars where Aria literally drives a plane and she's talking to some rando character. Like this was just one of the fun, that show, wow. Absolutely love it, by the way. Okay, we have a couple more moments. Two more kind of silly ones coming up. This one is definitely banking on the success of Lights Out. Let me grab her. I love this. I unironically give it 5 stars, enjoyed every single moment of this book, and I bet you can see some similarities here. Our girlie works in a department store and I think she has a dipshit boyfriend. She starts complaining about her relationship to an AI chat bot, which, let's just remind ourselves, this is fiction. We should not be doing this in real life. The thing is though, I don't even think it is AI, because we find out that the new head of security is like in love with our girl and he has hacked into her phone, and I don't know if like he made this app or he just is watching everything that she's doing, which again, like fucked up situation. It's a book. I'm hoping that he actually made the app and it's not AI at all. Not only because like I really like it, come on, but also the thought of him being the one typing back. That's way better than him just like seeing her confess against her will. Anyway, they are going to fall in love with each other. She's gonna realize what a dipshit her boyfriend is. She's apparently not going to be mad at this man for deeply invading her personal life. And then it says that some drama comes up. So I don't know if it's related to the ex-boyfriend or if they're still dating or if it's just a random thing, kind of like what happened in this third act. When I heard about this, I wasn't really hoping for much. I wasn't hoping like a 5-star. I think my thinking is like, oh, I want to read this because it sounds like a silly time, but the ratings are phenomenal. So maybe this will be good. I just don't know. And then we have The Mating Game. Now, I have been a little bit obsessed with werewolf romances since reading Mate. This one seems like more of a rom-com situation, but I also think this is like Omegaverse. I don't really know what that is, which means I haven't read one of those books yet. But our main character is an Omega and she had no idea. She suddenly gets like a fever. She goes to the hospital. The hospital literally tells her, oh, babe, you're a werewolf. So I like that we're in that kind of world, that kind of fantasy world where it's like, oh yeah, this is just a thing. Apparently she has no time to turn into a werewolf in the near future. She has renovations to do. I don't know if she's a contractor or whatever. And apparently there's like a TV show of hers that is going on. And the hospital worker is like, babe, no problem. Just stay away from alpha males, which like good advice for us all, you know? Then the synopsis switches. So I think we're gonna get dual POV to an alpha male. And all of a sudden a girlie knocks on his door. It's an Omega girl. And of course he has been avoiding them because they keep dumping him. The main variable, my friend, I'm just saying. I don't know why they are being forced to be together. I don't know if maybe it's his place that they're renovating. Maybe he's on her crew, but they're gonna fall in love. And I have to witness it, okay? It's my duty now. Next up is Murder in Manhattan. This is a historical mystery set in the 20s, New York City. Picture it now. I think most of the 1920 books I read are always like retellings of The Great Gatsby, and no offense to this slay of a book, I'm sure. I don't like this story, and I hate the retellings. So I think I'm just excited to go into this setting, which is just so glamorous, and like I know like I can picture it clearly, but without witnessing that same plot line over and over and over again. This one is actually based on a real person. So there was like a columnist in the 20s. I don't know if this exact thing happened to her, but it's deeply inspired by her character or her person. Wait, what? We're all characters, babe. Anyway, our main character is a columnist in New York City's in the 1920s, and she's noticing that there are a bunch of murders. First of all, they are all somewhat related to her. Like, she'll name someone in an article, she'll do an article about someone, and then they die a couple days later. Dun dun dun. So she has taken it upon herself, much to the dismay of the police officers around her who are telling her to stay out of it. She's going to investigate what's going on. She does have a lead. Apparently there has been a very fancy dressed lady fleeing the scenes of like a couple of the crimes. I don't know if there's a side romance between this lady or maybe the investigator who's telling her to stay out, but I wouldn't mind a side romance. I feel like this sounds like a straightforward mystery. I haven't read too many, and I think the addition of the setting could only be good, you know? Next up, Needle Lake, another mystery, but I think this one is going to lean more fiction-y. So our main character is a young girl. I don't know exactly how old she is. It sounds like maybe she's like 14. I think she's rather morose and lonely, and suddenly her cousin comes to visit one winter and they have a ball. I think her cousin's a little bit older, probably like 17, and she is just this flame of a spirit that our main character is just adoring, and I think they bond, and aw, isn't that cute? Except they end up witnessing the death of this man. It says it right in the synopsis that he drowns. I feel like they put too much in the synopses, but whatever, it was there. It says that they now have a secret, so I wonder if the secret is that this man drowned and they witnessed it, or like maybe they watched someone drown him. But it also says that as this winter continues, it turns out that these cousins don't know each other that well, and I think the older cousin has even more secrets that she's keeping. I want to know the secrets, but mostly I just love that the two of them have like found each other. So I really am hoping for a happy ending where they don't get in trouble for anything and they can be there for each other. I don't know how delusional that is, but I'm gonna find out. Next up we have Seeing Other People. This is by the duo who is married. They had one book that I really liked and one that I DNF'd, and it actually pissed me off. So I don't know. I'm gonna give it a shot though, because I think this might be their first paranormal romance. That might be wrong, but it's kind of giving Ashley Poston. Anyway, our main character is this young woman, and she went on one date with a boy. He died, and now he's haunting her. It's probably like the most awkward haunting of all time. In this world, I think this is something that happens quite a bit. So she goes to a, what's it called? Like a support group, and she meets other people who are dealing with hauntings, and lo and behold, she meets the love interest of this story. He is being haunted by his fiance who died, except she doesn't want to be there. She's haunting against her will, which is just unacceptable behavior. I guess he's just not ready to let go, which I guess is acceptable and definitely understandable. But these two are gonna bond. They're going to try to help each other out with these problems and fall in love in the process. How awkward though, to like fall in love with a dude while his fiance is just hanging out in the corner and being like, can I go? Damn. Next up, Snake Eater. T. Kingfisher, what do you have for us here? Now this is a horror fantasy, but there's an element in here that I'm wondering. Because T. Kingfisher isn't afraid to put a little romance in her books. I just don't think this is I don't think it's gonna happen, but like, so we have our main character. She is fleeing from her shitty life and her shitty husband, whatever. She does take her dog, which is so cute. She runs to her estranged aunt's house in the desert. I think she just like needs a place to stay, and this is the only thing she can think of. Turns out her aunt is dead, but she has this empty house and the neighbors are very nice. It sounds like unsettling how nice they are, that she decides that she's gonna stay here until she figures out what else she's gonna do. It turns out though that I think this house, I don't know what the situation is, but there's gods and goddesses, and there's this god called Snake Eater who owns this house or this land, and apparently her aunt owed this Snake Eater something. And not only does she owe it now, but also this is where I think, I kind of want a romance. Snake Eater starts becoming obsessed with her. Okay. I mean, based on this cover, I think there's another cover that looked even cooler, but like based on this one, I just don't know. I mean, this could be taken as like a phallic, no, okay. I am very excited to read this though, because first of all, T. Kingfisher, but also I've been reading a lot of her sort of cozier fantasies. I am kind of ready for a horror from this author again, but also like there could be a little romance. She can still kill him, but like, come on. Okay, this one is wild, and I am gonna read a portion of this verbatim, but let's just look at this cover. This is so beautiful, and it is the author of a bunch of books that I know you all love. I haven't read any of her books yet. I'm not gonna lie, the ratings are not very good. I mean, it could be just because it's not everyone's cup of tea. It does kind of sound, I don't know, it's silly and a little unhinged. Apparently this is a mix of Macbeth and Moulin Rouge. So apparently in this fantasy world, there were a bunch of rulers, and they were all like the rulers of a different province. I don't know how many provinces there were, but they were all fucking corrupt. They have been overthrown, like before the book starts, I think, and they need to find a new leader. I think they're gonna try to find one leader. Questionable decision, but the way that they're gonna find this president is that they're gonna have options from each of the province, and to be in the running for this presidency, you have to kill the leader of the province, like the one that was overthrown. You have to kill them. One of the love interests is this dude. He's the son of one of the leaders, so he's gonna have to kill his own dad. I don't know what their relationship is. I didn't read the whole synopsis because I read the following sentence. The key to killing his dad apparently lies in the hands of Lady Catherine, a gifted courtesan at La Puissance. I hadn't read that out loud yet. That's funny. It is the premier sex club to this realm. And then I read the next sentence, okay? And I didn't read any further because I just need to read this on camera. Lady Catherine has always had the magical ability to manipulate the emotions of anyone who experiences an orgasm in her presence. Fallon Ballard, like, you are ready to go unhinged, and I will be there to witness it. Okay, let's read this. If Callum, this is the dude who's trying to become the president, can only open up to Kate, he will be able to commit the newly fated murder without suffering the guilt. Oh, and take his place as the rightful candidate from his province. Okay, wait. Her power, I got lost on the orgasm part, but she can manipulate the emotions. This is so, like, come on. This is funny. This is silly. Like, that's the only way he can kill his father. But Callum has a deep-seated mistrust of the gifted with a capital G. Okay. And the last thing he expects is to be confronted with an undeniable connection with Kate that neither of them understands. You don't understand it. I mean, she has to do... Okay. I'm so excited. With the fate of the country at stake. The country's fate lies in this lady's puissance. Sorry. With the fate of the country at stake, Callum and Kate search for ways to bear themselves to each other and discover a darker force building within La Puissance. One that might ruin the future of Avon, this world, Avon, for good. To stop their world from violently falling to ashes, they must sacrifice everything they have, even if it requires betraying each other. Wait, I'm trying to close this dramatically and my fingers aren't working. Oh, sorry. That was a little too dramatic. But like, this is so silly. And maybe that's why people aren't rating it highly. That's my hope. I didn't glance at the reviews because I don't want to be spoiled, but I'm going to be reading this. Next up, we have Sparks Fly, another romance. There is a lot of romance on this list this month, and that's just because this is one of those genres that is always churning out books, whether it's the most popular or the least popular months to be published. They are on a mission, and you know what? They saved this video because otherwise I wouldn't have had enough books for a list. Anyway, Sparks Fly. This is actually opens up in another sex club. Our two main characters meet there. They're strangers. They seem to hit it off, but before anything happens, they have to leave. And they kind of just chalk it up to a good night and a missed opportunity. But our girlie goes into work either the next day or that Monday, and she finds out that her company is partnering with an AI company, and now she's scared that her job is going to be taken away from her. Guess who the CEO of this AI company is? Yes, that's right, her love interest. So they are butting heads in the workplace, but out of the workplace, they start getting closer, and the closer they get, the more they hate each other at work because they really, like, she has a problem with this, which understandable. I am interested to read how the author handles it and like what is the end gonna be? How are they gonna resolve this work situation? But we know how they're gonna resolve the romantic thing. They're gonna fall in love. It does point out several times in the synopsis that our main character is a virgin, which I just don't like it when they make that such a pivotal part of a romance. Like, I don't care if the character is one, but like, I don't want to, especially because I think both of the love interests are bisexual, but I feel like the conversation of virginity is just like I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I want to see how the author's going to handle it though, because there are always exceptions. Next up, I'm really excited for this one. I don't love this cover. Look at this other cover. Like what? Especially when you hear what this book is about. Like what is this? Anyway, this was originally published. Oh, my battery's dying again. I think my camera is just overheating and it's like sucking the energy out of them faster than usual. So let's hurry this up. Okay, I think this was originally published in 2016 and it was originally in Russian and it's been translated into English. I don't think I've ever read a Russian translated book, so I think that is one of the reasons I'm so excited to read this, but this sounds like a creepy little book. We have a small village on the outskirts of Moscow. Randomly one day, the main road disappears, and whenever someone tries to leave down like a path, they are suddenly like turned around and they go back to the village, or they find themselves back in the village. Other things that are happening that are weird, random sounds that sound menacing. The internet, TV, radio, none of it's working. And also the people that end up close to the woods or actually get into the woods surrounding this village either disappear or they come back different. Like I need to know what that's about. There were a couple other things in the synopsis, but I feel like it would be more fun to read them, so I don't want to like remind myself of them. I want to be surprised again. But I think our main character is Katya. She's the only one that's mentioned, and it's like the last sentence of the synopsis. It says that she is like the only one realizing what's happening or realizes that something weird is happening. So I don't know if she's going to investigate or the things are only happening to her. I just like it when there's a small setting, an enclosed space, isolated setting, and weird shit starts happening. I don't even want to know what the cause of it is. It does sound like something weird is causing it, but I feel like I just want to witness the weird shit. But damn, like this does not match the vibe, does it? Maybe it will be cutesy and like wholesome. Maybe it won't be as horrific as I'm thinking. Either way, I think I might really enjoy this one. Next up, we have Watch Us Fall. I also don't enjoy this cover, but I do enjoy the synopsis. We have 4 best friends. They just recently graduated college and they all live in Georgetown, which I think is like DC area, right? One of the girlies' boyfriends goes missing and he was acting really weird right before, so they decide to investigate. It also says that the girl whose boyfriend's gone missing is the queen bee, which is like, what, they gotta be like 22 years old at this point. And there's like a hierarchy in their friendship. I need to know more about these girls. I think I was excited at first at the thought of like a group of friends investigating, but as the synopsis goes on, it sounds like there's gonna be a lot of secrets and perhaps betrayals in this friendship. I mean, I do love a messy friendship drama, so I am here for it, but maybe it'll be like half messy, half wholesome. Like if there's 4 friends, not all of them can be evil. I mean, they are friends for a reason, right? So I think I care less about what happened to this dude and more about the interactions and relationships of these women. It also sounds kind of nice because most of the mysteries I read, it's like one character investigating, or it's like one normal person and an investigative person teaming up. But like to have a group of friends, that just sounds so fun. Next up, We Who Will Die. This is a fantasy romance with vampires. However, reading this synopsis, I've read it twice now, makes me want to pull my hair out. Immediately was like, yeah, I don't think this is for me. I mean, it's vampires, come on. But the ratings are overwhelmingly good. Like 5 stars, 5 stars, and not just like, oh, this is really good. This was amazing, all caps. So I think I do need to give it a chance, but I'm gonna tell you, this synopsis, just the way it is organized, is pissing me off and does not give me hope. So I've said that. I've said my piece, and now you know. I'm gonna try to recall from memory. Maybe it'll make more sense as I'm piecing it out of my mouth. But we have a girl. I think she's in a lower class. She has brothers. And one day a vampire shows up at her door. Except I think he threatens her and the life of her brothers and tells her she has to do something. It turns out she has made a deal, and her part of the deal is she has to kill the emperor. Why would a vampire make what sounds like a teenage girl kill the emperor? Like, why wouldn't you do it? The emperor is also a vampire, by the way. In order to do this, she is going to join a competition. I'm kind of over competition books. Honestly, I've never really been into them. There are exceptions, but this is a competition to go onto the emperor's elite guard, I guess, so she can get closer to him and then kill him. There's something about the emperor's like main guard right now, like his bodyguard. She doesn't know his identity. They butt heads, and then he takes his helmet off and she's like, oh my god. I'm guessing it's the vampire that was at her door. Then she says she can't believe she has to battle this person who crushed her heart. Did she have a romance with this vampire? And then it also says that she starts getting closer to the emperor's son. It sounds like a love triangle. All I know is that this doesn't sound oh, Allie, behave. This isn't intriguing to me. Like, even with the vampires, I don't feel myself drawn to this story. The ratings, this is one exception where I'm like, they're there's gotta be something in there, you know? Like, it's 5-star after 5-star after 5-star rating. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I won't even wait for reviews. I will give it a shot. Well, if they give me the NetGalley. And I bet they will now that I've been so complimentary. But I'm gonna try it out once I get my hands on it. I just gotta know. I gotta know. Why the 5 stars? Oof. When the Fireflies Dance. Now, this is gonna be a sad one. This is going to be very, like, damn. It's historical fiction. And first, let's talk about the covers. This is the American cover, which is fine. This is the UK cover. And I think this was actually published in the UK, sorry, in June. So if you've read this, if you're in the UK, let me know how it is. But I think I might wait until February when the paperback of this version of the cover is gonna come out to get my little hands on it. But yeah, this is gonna be a very powerful, touching tearjerker. It's set in Pakistan. It says historical, but I'm not sure of like when it's set. I did have to get a lot of this information from a couple reviews. Like the synopsis was giving us nothing. But when our main character was 6 years old, he watches his brother killed, like shot, right in front of his house. Obviously, it was a very traumatic event, and his parents want nothing more than to get them out of here. But they owe such a great debt that they will never be able to leave. I guess they make like bricks or they build things. It's a little fuzzy. I'll find out when I read the book. But they cannot leave. And I think it's like their landlord who owes this like debt over their head or holds the debt over their head. So these parents decide to try to get their son to safety and try to get him to a better life. Also, this is based on a true story, which I think is like immediately gonna make you want to cry just knowing that. So right after this happens, this kid is like 6 or 7. 6, 7, 6, 7. Sorry. They send this kid away to be an apprentice. How do you do that? Like maybe it's a family member. How do you be like, hey, I think my son should train under you. He's 6 years old. And so this poor fucking kid has just watched his brother be killed like bloodily right in front of him. And now his parents are like giving him away. But this is, I think, a coming of age story. It's gonna span until he's in his 20s and he goes back to see his parents. And my god, the range of emotions that he's gonna have, like dealing with his grief. I wonder, like the people that he goes to, are they gonna be nice at the very least, or like warm and helping him? So yeah, this is gonna be heavy, but maybe hopeful. How can it, like damn. It's gonna take some out of me. And I think just knowing it's based on a true story is just, it automatically makes it that much more intense. But I feel like it's gotta be a happy ending. Like he's gotta make $1 million and he's gonna save his parents from their fate of this horrible landowner, and then he's gonna sue him and make $10 more million. And then, okay, Allie, calm down. And finally, onto our last book. This is Winter Stories. I love this cover. And this is another translated work. It was originally published in 2013 in Norwegian, I think, which is the language of my ancestors. I think based on like a DNA test. Most of my ancestors are from North Carolina. Like what? Sweden, the Netherlands, and Scandinavia. So maybe I'm related to this author. But these are, I guess it's not technically like short stories, it's 3 stories. So maybe like 3, what are they called? Novellas put together. And they're the kind of short stories that I ate up before BookTube. They were just like people living their life and finding the simplicity in that, either in a cute, kind of warm, wholesome way, or sort of the devastation of your everyday life. I ate those kind of books up. So let's see. I didn't read the stories. I wanted to read them on camera and get a reaction, but I feel like they're going to be very boring. It's like very general fiction-y. Just prepare yourself. A young mother in financial troubles tries to steal a pair of underwear in front of the watchful eyes of her young daughter. Okay, an experience for sure. A man fresh out of prison struggles to reintegrate into a daunting society and become a better father to his son. Okay, it's gonna be sad. 3 siblings run away and seek refuge in a remote cabin untouched by time in a desperate bid to keep their family from being torn apart. Okay, intense, sad, tragic. I would have eaten this up in 2010 to 2019, honestly. In these powerful and emotionally charged tales, this author delves into the complexities of family, poverty, and forgiveness, exploring the human desire for a better life. Oh, that kind of ties into When the Fireflies Dance. The longing for change and the difficult choices we must sometimes make to protect those we love. It's a reminder of the power of hope. Okay, there's hope, yay! Loyalty and unexpected kindness during dark times. Okay, so it sounds like it's gonna be intense and sad, but there's gonna be an edge to it that's like, not everyone sucks. Yay! That's good. And that's all. I think I actually like vetoed a couple as I was speaking to the camera because I was so deeply uninterested. So I don't know how many we ended up with, probably around 30. And I'm hoping that at least one of them sparks your interest. Let me know if you've read any of them, if you somehow got your hands on an arc, if you're interested in any in particular, or if I missed some that you think I should definitely definitely check out, and everyone else. Put it in the comments. I feel like every time I do this, it takes a lot to like research, especially when it's a bottom of the barrel month like December, but it gets me so excited to keep doing this every month. I know sometimes I skip a month because of like life, but genuinely cannot wait to continue doing this in 2026. And if you have any, hopefully there are people still watching at the end here. If you have any anticipated reads for 2026, new releases that are coming out that you think I should know about and put on my master list, please put them in the comments. I don't care how many titles you list. You don't need to go into synopses. I will look it up. Please let me know. All right, now that I've asked you to do my work for me, I'll see you later. Goodbye.